So this is our restore practice. And because we don't have props at home per se, this will be done mostly without props. If you have a pillow, and you can grab that really quick, or hopefully you already have that, that's about all that we'll need today. So again, as we always do, finding your breath first and foremost. Today, really establishing with each inhale a deeper breath, a more expansive inhale, and a breath that moves deeply into the lower abdomen, deeply into the pelvis, as though you're filling up your pelvic bowl with breath. And then filling up the abdominal cavity. Take at least 5 seconds to inhale, if not longer. And really resolve to stay with this breath throughout your practice. This rhythm that we are establishing is the most important part of restoring calm, restoring equanimity, restoring that feeling of being comfortable and okay in our bodies. So once you do establish a strong inhalation, begin to take a stronger, longer exhale as well. Exhaling for at least as long as the previous in-breath, if not longer. Let each inhale expand down into the pelvis again, into the back of your pelvis, into your lower back, into the belly. And then once you can feel that feeling of filling up this part of your torso, send your breath up a little higher into your floating ribs as well. Pull the ribs open with each in-breath. And engage in exhaling completely. Again, exhaling by knitting your ribs together. And then by drawing the navel back toward the spine as though you're cinching a belt around the lower belly. And by emptying out the pelvis before you take your next in-breath. Take 3 more breaths like that, inhaling for as long as you can, pelvis filling, belly filling, floating ribs filling up with breath. Strong exhalation to engage in making sure that you are empty, knitting the ribs together, hollowing out the belly, emptying out the pelvis. Again, please resolve to keep yourself going with this breath. And when you notice that your breath has dissipated, or when your breath becomes very subtle or almost non-existent, notice that and bring your attention back to your breath again. Good, let's go ahead and open the eyes now. Reach your arms up alongside your ears. Take a long inhale here. As you exhale, bring your right hand down, mirroring what I'm doing. Bring your left arm over your left ear toward the right side of the room. Inhale to rotate your left armpit toward the sky, and you can keep your eyes closed throughout this practice. Exhale, bend your right elbow, reach even further with your left arm toward the right wall. Inhale, come back up, press the palms together, extend your spine. Exhale, your left hand down. Bring your right arm over, reaching your right fingertips toward the left wall. Inhale, breathe into the right side of your body, bending into your left elbow. Exhale, engage your abdominals, the sides of your torso on the left side, knitting your left ribs in toward your spine. Inhale, reach up and rise up, press those palms together. Good, turn your palms out so that they face either side of the room. Swivel your arms through the shoulders, bring your hands back behind you and claw the floor with your fingertips. Take an inhale to lift the heart toward the heavens. And an exhale to round your back. Bring your chin into the soft part of your throat. Inhale, lift the heart, wrap the shoulder blades, chin comes up. And exhale, round, draw your navel in. Pull the shoulder blades away from each other. Belly button moves toward the spine. One last time, root down through the palms behind you. Lift the heart toward the heavens. Your chin reaches up to the sky. And exhale to round your back, abs are engaging. Good, from there, take your inhale and hold your body open. Then press down through both shins into the floor so that you lift your pelvis off the floor. From a seated position, the glutes will come up. Glutes are engaging here. Stay here and breathe here, rooting down through the palms of your hands. Lift the pelvis up, squeeze those glutes a little more. Make sure you feel this stretch on the front of your pelvis. Take one more deep breath in into the pelvis itself, then the belly, and then your floating ribs. Exhale, release your hips back down to the ground. Take your arms from behind you, swivel the arms through the shoulders again, sweep the arms over your head. Good, and then exhale, bring your hands down in front of your shins, walk your hands forward, and begin to drape your torso toward the earth. With your abdominals strong here, take a huge inhale into the back of your body. Exhale to draw your navel towards your spine. Maybe your arms reach a little further forward. Your neck is relaxed, your crown is reaching toward the front of your mat, and your forehead is on the floor. 2 more breaths here. Inhaling deeply into the back of your body, starting with the back of your pelvis, and then your lower back, then the back of your floating ribs. 1 more exhale, draw the navel in. Make sure your abs are really strong here. See if perhaps you can bring your ribs closer to the ground. Once you are empty on that last exhalation, walk your hands back in towards your shins. Come back up into an extended spine position. Good. Sweep the arms over your head. And this time we're going to take a twist. So bring your right hand, and let's go ahead and switch our legs. So however you were sitting, just switch in the opposite direction. Right? If your right shin was in front of your left, now the left is in front of the right. So let's do that again. Take an inhale here to reach up. As you exhale now, bring your left hand to the outside of your right knee. Your right hand comes back behind you. Inhale, draw the crown up toward the sky. Exhale to ring out. Draw your navel in and ring out by pushing lightly with your left hand into your right thigh, but also by rooting down more with the pads of your right fingertips. Inhale, slowly come back to center. Both arms rise again. And exhale, twist to the opposite side now, bringing your right hand to the outside of your left thigh. Left hand behind you. Inhale, grow taller. Draw the shoulders down away from your ears at the same time. Exhale, push your right hand into your left outer thigh. Root down with your left hand behind you. Turn with your abdominals strong so that maybe your head can turn to look over your back shoulder as well. Inhale, reaching up again, sweeping the arms up, bring it back to center. And again, turn your palms face out, swivel your arms through the shoulders, and bring your hands back behind you again. Inhale to lift the heart, open through the chest. And exhale, round the back, abs are strong. Pull the shoulder heads toward the sternum. Inhale, heart rises. The front of your rib cage flares open. Exhale, engage your core. Bring your chin in, round your back. 1 more time, take that inhale to lift the heart. Draw the chin up as well. 1 more exhale to round your back. And then just like we did before, now that we've got the shins in the opposite direction, take an inhale and open up. Push down through your shins, engage your glutes, lift the pelvis off the floor. This is a back bend. You're rooting down with the palms of your hands, or if you're standing onto the heels of your hands, please feel free to just root down that way. Find a way to breathe more deeply into the left side and the right side of your body, but keep that breath flowing into the front of the pelvis, into the belly, and into the front of your floating ribs. Take 1 more inhale, really push down through your shins. Engage your glutes and lift your hips even higher. Exhale, release your hips back down to the ground. Good. Inhale, arms are rising. We're going to take 1 more forward fold here. Exhale, dive over your legs. Now again, when you feel like your abs are not supporting you any longer, bring your hands to the ground. Begin to slide the hands slowly forward. See how close to the floor you can bring your forehead. If the forehead touches, that's great. That's the direction we're moving in. Your neck is completely relaxed. Your abs are very, very strong. And on your next exhale, see if there is a way to walk your hands even further forward. At this point, I'll remind you to check in with your breath. Remember your resolve to stay with that at least 5-second inhale, 6-second exhale. There's always more room than we think there is, and it just takes our conscious awareness of the breath to keep the breath moving freely. Take a final inhale into the back of your body. Start with the back of the pelvis, then move into your lower back, into the kidneys, into the floating ribs. One final exhale, engage your abdominals strongly. Use that abdominal engagement to bring your ribs closer to your shins, forehead all the way down to the floor. Begin to walk your hands back in toward your shins in that seated position, coming up into an extended spine here. Good, and then exhale, push your hands into the fronts of your knees. Lift the heart a little higher toward the sky here. And find your breath again. Draw those shoulders down away from your ears. Go ahead, take another inhale here. As you exhale, draw the navel all the way back to your spine. And once you have found that deeper engagement, kind of lean back, just bring your hands behind you, lean back, uncross your legs, and bring the soles of your feet to the mat. Your hands are still back behind you. Your feet are about sit bone distance apart, and your knees are lining up with your hips. Take an inhale to open the chest here. As you exhale, lift the hips up so that you move into a reverse table position, or what I call tabletop, right? But your hands are pushing down, your feet are rooting down, your glutes are up, and your spine is lengthening. Your body looks like a table, right? Your crown is drawing back toward the back of the room. When your neck gets tired, bring your chin to the soft part of your throat. Take an inhale here to lift the hips higher, engage your glutes even more. And exhale, bring your hips back down to the ground. Once your hips land, drop onto your elbows so that your fingers are pointing towards your glutes. You're on your elbows and your forearms. Walk your elbows back just a little bit here, and then make sure that your spine is extending. Take an inhale here to bring your right foot up, cross the right ankle to the top of your left thigh, and point your right knee away from your right hip. Take an inhale here and lift up out of that back again, lift out of your shoulders. As you exhale, bring your left knee in toward your chest. As close to the chest as possible. This is a stretch for your right outer glute, so make sure you're feeling that. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, bring it in a little closer and bring your forehead toward your right big toe. One final inhale here. Exhale, bring the forehead and the big toe together. Abs are strong. Release your left foot down. Slide your elbows out from underneath you and draw your right knee all the way over your left knee so that your right knee stacks over left, and draw both knees over to the left side of the room. Your back is on the floor. Right now, your gaze is directly up at the sky. If your eyes were open, you'd be looking at your ceiling. Your arms are reaching out to either side of the room. Inner thighs engage, especially on your exhale. And then just to bring a little more awareness into it, we're going to draw the right sit bone toward the right knee. Squeeze those inner thighs together. And draw both knees closer to the floor as you root your right shoulder blade down into the mat. Now turn your head to look over your right shoulder. And take a deep breath in into the lower back right side. As you exhale, squeeze the inner thighs together more. Fold the sit bones towards your knees. Hollow out the belly. See if the right shoulder blade can get any closer to the ground. Good. Bring your knees back up to center. Pick your left foot up off the floor. Before we uncross the legs, we're just going to rock side to side with the right knee still crossed over the left. And after rocking side to side a few times here, place your left foot back down to the floor, place your right foot back down. Bring your elbows, your hands alongside your glutes, elbows onto the floor, and then just push yourself back up onto those forearms. Point your fingers towards your glutes, walk your elbows back. Your elbows are shoulder distance apart here, and your forearms are rooting down, palms are rooting down. This time, pick up your left foot, cross your left ankle to the top of the right thigh, and point your left knee away from you. Now again, instead of sinking into your lower back or into your shoulders, push down with the forearms, let the heart rise. Now pick up your right foot. Feel the stretch. If this feels like enough of a stretch for you, stay right here with the left knee pointing to the left side of the room. Your right knee is coming in towards your chest. Now if you feel like you can go further, engage your abs. This is when our back will round, right? Because our abs are really engaged, but we're not sinking down. We're actually pulling the forehead toward the left big toe or the left ankle while the left knee continues to point away. Take another inhale, lift out of your shoulders. Exhale, bring forehead toward your ankle and your ankle in a little closer. Your abs have to engage pretty tremendously here. Good, now release your left knee over your right knee. Walk your elbows out from underneath you. Lie onto your back again. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, both knees swivel over to the right side of the room. For right now, your chest is facing the sky and your gaze, if your eyes were open, your gaze is upward at the ceiling. Your arms are reaching out right below the shoulder, so your arms are reaching directly from your sternum. Take a huge inhale into the left side of your lower back. Exhale, engage your abdominals, engage your inner thighs, pull your sit bones, especially your left sit bone, toward your knees. Now root down through the left shoulder and the left shoulder blade, the back of the left shoulder and the shoulder blade, and turn your head to the left side of the room. We're in a spinal twist. So we do want to feel this as a ringing out of our spine, our internal organs. Our lungs get to ring out here. Take a strong, long exhale. I'll remind you again to check in with your resolution to stay with that 5-second inhale, 6-second exhale, if not longer, right, on both sides of the breath. Strong, long exhale here to see if maybe your left shoulder blade can really descend into the earth. Squeeze those thighs together again. Pull the knees closer to the floor. Feel that release of tension, the stretch on the lower back left side, and take one more huge breath into this stretch. Puffing up the back of your body, especially the left side of your back. Good. Once you've taken your last exhale to ring out and go a little further, bring the knees back up, keep your knees crossed, and again, just rock side to side across the back of your pelvis. So you're not doing this with your arms, you're doing this movement with your core. Your arms just stay on the ground, and we're simply rocking across the back of one hip, across the sacrum to the back of the other hip with the left knee now over the right knee. And once you've done that a few times, go ahead and uncross your legs. Bring the soles of your feet flat to the mat. Take an inhale here and open through the chest. And as you exhale, as we've done before, you're going to bring your hands back behind you, come back up onto your elbows, point your fingers towards your glutes. Walk the elbows back, take an inhale, both legs are going to rise toward the sky this time. And as you exhale, bring your toes toward the wall behind your head so your legs get straighter. And we're trying to get our legs perpendicular to the floor here. In relationship to the floor and the ceiling, the legs are perpendicular. And then if you want to bring the legs in even closer to your chest and you have that flexibility and capability, please do so with the use of your quads and your abs. Of course, your arms are out of that equation because they're rooting down into the floor. Take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, extend your left leg toward the ground. We're going to let it hover there about parallel with the floor. So now your right leg is perpendicular, left leg is parallel. If this is too much, you can always place your left heel on the ground. But if you want to work a little core strength during your restorative practice, please feel free. Take another inhale here, root down more through the forearms, make sure you're out of your shoulders. Bring the left leg slowly back up. And now exhale, bring both legs closer in. Your toes, your feet are flexed, and the tips of your toes are reaching toward the wall behind your head. Good. Keep the left leg where it is. Start to let your right leg descend slowly. Hug into midline with both inner thighs. Your right leg is parallel. Your left leg is still perpendicular. Abs are strong here. Root down through the forearms. Make sure you're not sinking into your shoulders, and check in with your jaw, your teeth, your forehead. We're not clenching up anywhere. Good. Bring the right leg slowly back up. Flex both feet. Inhale here. Exhale, pull the toes further back. Now walk your elbow, keep your legs working. Walk your elbows out from underneath you, lie onto your back again. Now keep your toes pulling back. Now we are creating an acute angle, right, at the hip socket. As we pull the toes toward the wall behind us. Make sure you're not using your arms here. This is core work. Take a strong exhale here, pull those toes back. Make sure you feel that stretch on both hamstrings. Abs are engaging, sit bones are moving toward your knees. One more strong exhale, lift the pelvis off the floor, and then slowly roll the spine back down, the back of your pelvis back down. Good. Bring your left leg, again, parallel with the floor, right leg perpendicular. Take an inhale here. Hold, and again, if you need to, you can bring your left heel to the floor at any time. Hold here. Now we're going to reach up with your right hand, grab your right big toe with the first two fingers of your right hand. If that is not happening or it causes your shoulder any stress or tension, just take your right hand behind your right thigh. Keep your left leg hovering if possible, parallel with the floor. Inhale here. Exhale, you're going to bring your head and shoulders up. Your left fingers will be reaching towards your left toes. Your shoulder blades are off the floor for sure. And then we're working to get our rib cage off the ground as well. Feel the stretch on your right hamstrings. Draw your right shin closer to your forehead. Now release your head back down. Release your left leg to the ground. Take your left arm out to the left side of the room and begin to open your right leg to the right. Your left glutes are not going to roll off the floor here. Keep your left glutes and your left thigh bone to the best of your ability on the ground. And your left hand is also serving as an anchor. So your palm is facing down and we're kind of holding onto the floor with our left fingertips. Again, if it's too much to hold onto your right big toe here, you can bring your hand to the outside of your right shin. If you can grab your toe without tension, it's a nice stretch for your shoulder and your arm muscles. So feel free to take that as long as it doesn't cause tension. Breathe into the right inner thigh here. Breathe into your right hip. Breathe to fill up the pelvis, the belly, the floating ribs. Check in with how long an inhale you are taking and how long an exhale you are taking. Reestablish a breath. Remember, the breath is really everything here. Reestablish a breath that induces the relaxation response. Bring the right leg slowly, slowly back up. Use your arm to help you. Back up over your hip. Good, and then release your right big toe. Bring your right hand down to the ground. Turn so that you're rolling to your left, and you're going to roll all the way onto your left hip bone. As you roll onto your left hip bone, right, you may need to lift the pelvis in order to get the hip bone to touch the floor. Your right leg will be as straight as possible here, and your left leg as well. You can always bend both knees or one knee, right? But let's see where we can get to with both legs straight. So your right leg is at a 90-degree angle coming out of your right hip, reaching to the left. Your left leg is reaching down directly out of your left hip. You can feel your left hip bone on the ground. Now turn your head to the right. Bring your right shoulder blade onto the ground to the best of your ability. Notice how this is a different twist and it's targeting a different part of your spine. Take your left hand now to your right hamstrings and push your right thigh bone into your fingertips so that your right leg is actually moving further away from your belly rather than trying to bring the leg in any closer. Turn your head all the way to the right to the best of your ability. And as you push your hamstrings into your left hand, feel the increased stretch on the left side of your neck. Take a huge inhale, breathe as deeply as you can through your entire torso. A strong, long exhale to ring out. Keep pushing your right thigh into your left hand. Turn to see if your head can turn any more to the right. Good, now release your left arm back down, right out of your left shoulder. Bring your right leg all the way back up to the sky. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, without using your arms, just see how close you can bring your right thigh to the right side of your belly, using core strength and quadricep strength. Good, take one more inhale here. Send the breath all the way up the back of your right thigh. One more exhale to see if maybe the tips of your right toes can reach back a little closer to the wall behind your head. And now very slowly inhale your heel back over your hip, 90-degree angle there. And exhale, slowly, slowly bring your right heel down to meet your left heel. Once the right heel touches the ground, take your inhalation. And exhale, draw the navel down toward your spine. Engage in emptying out here. One more time, we're going to bring the palms on the floor, elbows down, push back up to where we were and where we keep being. Walk your fingertips towards your sit bones, but walk the elbows back at the same time so that your forearms are really rooting down and long. Draw both knees into your chest, just like we've done. Take an inhale, extend both legs straight up to the sky. This time we're going to bring the legs out into an upavishta or straddle position. So you're extending both legs directly out to either side of the room. Your right inner thigh is probably going to be ready to do this more than the left inner thigh. Keep rooting down through both forearms. Root through the inner edges of both feet. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, slowly bring the legs back together directly over your hips. Inhale, open the legs out again. Push down through the forearms. And this time, pull your heels away from your torso. So your heels are reaching to the bottom part of your mat. Good. And then bring them back in close and bring them all the way back up. Your legs all the way back up over your hips. We're going to do this just one more time. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, push down through the forearms. Inhale, open the legs out to that straddle position. And from there, swivel your heels almost all the way to where they're going to touch each other. In fact, if you can touch the heels together, please do. You'll feel your core work for sure. Turn your toes out, your heels in. And then again, take your legs out to either side of the room. And once they're back in upavishta, then bring them all the way up over your hips. Wonderful job. Good. Walk your elbows out. And draw your torso back down to the floor. Take an inhale here, flex both feet. Exhale, draw navel down, pull the toes over your head. Use your core strength here to scoop the pelvis completely off the floor. We are not using our arms to bring the legs in. This time we're just using our abdominal muscles. Draw the navel down. Quadriceps, the fronts of your thighs, are pulling your thighs towards your chest. Flex your feet, get more shin engagement, feel more of a stretch on your calf muscles as well. Take one final exhale. See if the back of the pelvis can completely come off the floor. And release your hips back down to the mat as you inhale. Keep your left leg extended and bring your right leg parallel with the floor. Reach up and grab your left big toe now with the first two fingers of your left hand if that's possible, or just grab the back of the thigh or even your calf. Just make sure you're not causing tension in your shoulders. Take an inhale here. Keep the right leg hovering above the floor if you can. Exhale, bring your forehead up toward your left knee. And your right arm is reaching toward your right toe. So your fingers are reaching as close to your right toes as possible. Your left arm is definitely strong here. Right? We are engaging in keeping the leg where we can get it to, right? But we're getting the leg to move further with our abdominals and our quads. So make sure you're not yanking on your leg to take you too deep, too fast. 2 more breaths here. Lift the shoulder blades off the floor. Lift your ribs off the floor. One final exhale to bring your forehead and your knee closer together. Release your right leg all the way down to the ground. Take your right arm out to the right and press your palm down firmly. Remember, your right arm and right leg are your anchor. You're going to open to the left slowly now. Left leg opens slowly to the left side of the room. If holding onto your big toe is a possibility, please do. It's a nice stretch for your shoulder and your left arm. Please make sure you're not rolling over to your left. If that causes tension, you're going to bring your left hand underneath the outside of your left shin or even under your left outer thigh. Right glutes are on the floor. Right hand is clawing the floor. Not tensing up the shoulder, but simply being this little glue that holds us to the right so that we're not rolling all of our body weight into the left side. We won't feel the stretch if we do that. Your right quads are actively moving your right thigh bone down into the floor as well. Breathe deeply into your left inner thigh. Breathe into your left hip. Fill the pelvic bowl, fill the abdominal cavity, fill the lower thoracic cavity. Front and back, of course. And with a strong, long exhale, counting to at least 6, right? Remember that rhythm that we established. Keep that going. A strong, long, emptying out exhale. Good. And then slowly start to bring your left leg with your arm strength helping you. Make sure you're using your arms to bring the leg back up because the inner thighs are relaxed. And take your right hand to the outside of your left shin. You're going to rotate your left leg all the way over to the right. Roll onto your right hip bone. And then bring your left arm to reach to the left again. Your right hand and your left hand are both right now just reaching up toward the sky. Your arms are shoulder level or a little lower than the shoulders. Find this stretch first. Notice if it's too intense. With both legs straight, you can always bend one or both of your knees here. This should not feel like you're struggling, and it should not feel like you're building tension in the body. It should feel like you're able to wring out that tension. Take a huge inhale, and now we're going to take the right hand to the left hamstrings. Push your left thigh bone into your right hand. Turn your head to look as far to the left as possible. Bring the left shoulder away from your left ear. As you push your thigh bone into your hand, feel an increased stretch on the right side of your neck, all the way up underneath your right ear. Getting those sternocleidomastoids and your upper traps to stretch. Strong exhale to maybe bring the left shoulder blade closer to the floor. Don't stop pressing your left thigh into your right hand. Take another strong exhale here. Really push. Good. Feel that lengthening in the lower back left side. Point your left sit bone towards your left knee. And then release your right arm. Inhale your left leg back up over your left hip. And this time without using the arm and with the right leg still on the floor, pull your toes, your left toes back toward the wall behind you. Hamstrings are stretching, calves are stretching, right? Make sure you feel your, if there's any tension in your toes, you can always flex and point the toes. If there's any tension in your ankles, feel free to rotate through the ankle. But do feel like your toes are not the ones that are initiating this stretch, right? You want to feel the stretch initiated from your core and your quads. 2 more breaths here. Shoulders are relaxed. If your eyes were open, they would be looking at the ceiling, but please feel free to keep your eyes closed. Take another strong exhale here. Pull the toes even further back. Inhale, bring the heel directly over your left sit bone. And with a strong, long exhale and lots of abdominal strength, lower your left heel all the way to the ground. When your left heel touches down next to your right heel, please take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, just let your legs open out into like a star pose so that you're taking up a little more space. And please notice how you feel in this moment, how the legs especially are feeling in this moment. Breathe into the belly, the pelvis, the floating ribs, the front and back and the sides, right? So that we feel this expansiveness with each inhale, an inhale that lasts at least 5 seconds, if not closer to 10. An exhale that lasts at least as long as the previous in-breath, if not longer. Great job. Now let's bend the left knee. Place the sole of your left foot down to the ground. Bring your right leg, and just like we did when we were on our forearms earlier, you're going to bring your right ankle to the top of your left thigh again. Take a deep breath in here. As you exhale, pick up your left foot. Draw the shin, your right shin, towards your chest. But now we're going to reach down with the right hand to take a hold of the outer edge of the left foot with the right fingertips. And we're going to coax the right ankle, the right inner ankle, towards your left. I'm sorry, I'm saying that wrong. We're coaxing your left inner ankle towards your right knee. Okay? So the right shin is crossed in front. The left shin is coming in to stack underneath that right shin. Flex your feet. Engage your abdominals here. Keep holding on to that lower foot. This is double pigeon or fire log pose, but we're doing it in a supine position today. Good. And then start to just rotate your hips a bit so that still holding on to your left foot with your right hand, you're moving your left knee towards your left armpit while the right knee points away, and then swivel it to the other side so that now right knee points toward right armpit while left knee points away. Do that a few more times, massaging out the sacroiliac joint. And then bringing it back to center. Take an inhale here. Keep the left foot keep holding on to your left foot with your right hand. And now take your left hand to the outside of your left knee. Coax your shins even closer to your chest. Please make sure that your right knee is tracking away from your right shoulder. So we're not pushing the right knee toward the right shoulder at all. Hug those shins in. Take a deep breath in here. Exhale, bring your forehead up toward your shins now. Use a little core strength to help you. Shoulders are down, your neck is as relaxed as possible. One final exhale here, just hug everything in. Good, and release. Nice job. You're going to place your left foot down to the floor. Step your left foot to the, I'm sorry, I keep saying it backwards. Step your right foot now. Instead of bringing your right foot off the knee, just step your right foot to the left side of your left thigh. Let your left outer thigh come down to the ground. The sole of your right foot is on the floor alongside the outer left thigh. And you're going to take a hold of your right shin with your left hand. Your right knee is pointing directly up to the ceiling. And just notice how you're feeling here as you again pull the right knee as far away from your right hip as possible. If you do have the flexibility, reach down with your right hand, grab the top of your left foot this time, draw your left heel towards your right sit bone, and use this as a stretch for your left quadriceps. So as that left heel comes toward right sit bone, engage your right outer thigh to draw the right outer knee closer to the mat. Then engage, I'm sorry, I said that backwards again, I'm so sorry. Your left outer knee comes to the floor, left outer thigh comes to the floor, left glutes are engaging here, left hamstrings are engaging here. Feel the stretch on your left quadriceps without feeling any pinching or torquing in the knee at all. Notice that your chest is wide open here. Push down with both elbows into the floor. Breathe into the pelvis, the belly, the ribs. Strong exhale to hug your spine with your spinal muscles. Make sure your right glutes stay active. Make sure your left glutes stay active. Take one final exhale, root down more through the sole of your right foot. Engage your left hamstrings even more. And release. Take your shoulder blades onto the ground again. Uncross your legs and roll back onto your back. This time bring your knees in close to your chest without your arms. Use your core to do that and rock across the back of your rib cage. Just massaging out those back muscles that we just engaged. So with the knees as close as possible to the chest, rock side to side across the back of your ribs. Good. Then rock a little further forward so your knees move away from your chest. And eventually place both feet flat to the mat. Again, take an inhale here. Please notice how your body is feeling. On your next exhalation, draw the navel down. Make sure you feel like you're not overarching your back here. Bring your left foot up to so that the left outer ankle is on the top of the right thigh, right below the right knee. Your left knee is pointing as far away from your left hip as possible. Feel this stretch. Feel how good this feels to just open up that hip flexor area. Breathe into this open space. Now pick up your right foot. Draw the right knee in. Keep your left knee pointing away. Bring your right inner ankle towards your left outer knee this time into a supine fire log or double pigeon pose. And you may not get there right away, we're not forcing it, but you'll notice pretty quickly that your shins, when we're in this position, will go a lot further toward that stacking feeling than they do when we're in a seated pose. So this is supine fire log or supine double pigeon. This time your left shin is stacking onto the right shin. The right shin is coming in, and we continue to hold on to the outer side of the foot with the left hand. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, just like we did before, we're going to swivel through the hips so that one knee points away while the other one points in. We're not bringing the left knee way in though. Keep that left knee pointing. Even if your left knee is coming toward the shoulder, make sure it's still tracking to the left. And then switch sides so that your other knee comes in close to your shoulder while the opposite knee points away. Do that a few more times, just swiveling through the pelvis, swiveling the pelvis side to side. You'll also notice that your obliques are working to help you move in this way. And then again, once you've done that a few times, bring your shins in. You're going to take your right hand to the outside of the right knee. Left hand continues to hold on to the outer edge of your right foot. Bring your shins in closer to your chest. Take a huge inhale here. Exhale, bring your forehead up toward your shins now. Make sure that your left knee is not caving in towards your left armpit. Breathing deeply here. Abs are engaging. Pelvis, the back of the pelvis is probably off the floor. Your lumbar spine is probably off the floor as well. Take one final exhale, bring everything a little closer. Please notice how good this feels on the left glutes, the left outer glutes. And then release your head back down to the floor. Release your right foot down to the mat for a moment. Step your left foot to the outside of your right thigh and grab your left shin, the base of your left shin with your right hand. And then let the inner knee, the outer side of your right knee drop to the floor. You can stay right there, or if you feel like you have a little more stretch in you, you can reach down with your left hand and take a hold of the top of your right foot. This is another back bend. Push down through your elbows. Walk the elbows in as close to your torso as possible. Bring your right heel to your left sit bone. Engage your left glutes. Engage your left hamstrings. Engage your left outer thigh to bring the left knee closer to the ground. Meanwhile, the sole of your left foot is rooting down into the floor. And you're feeling this as your right knee pulls away from your right hip. Feel your right glutes, your right hamstrings, your right outer thigh, drawing the knee closer to the ground. But you're also kind of lifting the outside of your right glutes off the floor if you have that capability. The chest is opening. If you would like to, you can continue to pull your left knee toward the lower part of your mat so that you can continue to feel that opening and the stretch on the left hip flexors. Your right hip flexors are definitely stretching. Your right hamstrings are engaging to support a stretch on your right quadriceps as well here. Take a huge inhale into the front of your rib cage. Let your front ribs flare open. And a strong exhale to knit your back ribs in even more. Good, and then very slowly take the elbows out. Lay your ribs onto the ground. Let go of your feet. And bring your knees back into your chest. Without using your arms, draw the knees in as close to the chest as possible. Rocking side to side across your rib cage. Good. And then once you've rocked side to side with the knees in fairly close, bring your knees further away so that you're rocking truly across the small of your back. So not yet really across the back of the pelvis, but right into that space, lower thoracic and lumbar spine. Rock across that part of your spine. Then move your knees a little further away. So yes, now we are rocking across the sacrum. And then eventually bring the pads of your toes to the floor here and the heels to the ground. Take an inhale in this position. Take your arms alongside your torso. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, root down through your feet and move into a bridge pose. We're just going to hold bridge today, like we held our tabletop earlier. Press down through the palms. Lift your glutes. Pull the sit bones towards your knees. Bring your chin away from the soft part of your throat. Another stretch for your quadriceps. You can't feel this in your quads unless you really truly engage your hamstrings. Check in with how you're breathing too, because if we're breathing in a choppy way or a non-existent way, then while we're in this pose, we're going to maybe be sending a message we don't want to send to the body. We do not need to move into fight or flight here just because we're working our muscles. Keep the breath long and deep, rhythmic and full, and take 2 more breaths here. Push down through the palms of your hands. Push down through the soles of your feet. Pull the top of your pelvis away from your lower ribs. Track your sit bones towards your knees. Take 1 more inhale in bridge pose. Lift the pelvis higher. Exhale, take your arms out from underneath you. Roll your spine as slowly as you can back down to the mat. And once the lower back touches down, allow your sacrum to touch down. Take your inhale once you land there. Good, and again, extend your legs out wide into that star position. Extend your arms out wide into star position for a moment. Take up as much space as you can on your mat, and please notice how you are feeling. Good, and then keeping your legs relaxed for a moment, we're going to bring the arms, as you can feel how there's this freedom, right, from our toes all the way up to our rib cage, and then it starts to kind of feel like there's still tension up in the upper body. So let's do a few stretches for our shoulders and our neck now. Take your arms right up so that your fingers are lining up with your shoulders. Your arms are reaching toward the sky. Your fingertips are reaching toward the ceiling. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, you're just going to bring both arms back behind you, and your thumbs will touch the floor, if possible, right? They're getting as close to that as possible. Inhale, bring the arms back up over the shoulders. And exhale your arms back over your head. Your thumbs are touching the ground. One more time. Inhale, arms come up. And exhale back. Now turn your palms up and see if you can bring the backs of your hands to touch the ground without overarching your back. From there, it's almost like you're making a snow angel on the ground. Just going to sweep your arms, the backs of your hands, all the way down alongside your hips. Inhale, the arms reach back up over your head. And we're not really reaching, we're just sweeping the arms. And sweep the arms back down. We're making a snow angel on our floor. One more time, sweep the arms overhead here. Fingertips reach back, push down through the backs of your hands, and bring it back down. Good, and now bend your elbows, reach up and take a hold of your shoulders with your fingertips. Pull the shoulders down away from your ears. Pull the ears away from your shoulders as you jut your chin toward the sky a little more. And now begin to, while still holding on to the tops of your shoulders, begin to point your elbows up toward the sky. And then rotate around and through. So you're rotating your arm bone through the shoulder socket. Your elbows can touch over your sternum. Then point your elbows over your face and then start to circle the elbows out and around and back down. You're still holding on to the tops of your shoulders. Once you've done that a few times, reverse the circle, take it in the opposite direction. Touch the elbows together in front of your chest. Circle out and up and around. Do that one more time. Good. And then release your arms out to either side and notice the increased circulation through your arms and your shoulders now. Take your head over to the right, bringing your right ear as close to the floor as possible. Reach your left arm away from your left ear, lifting the left hand off the ground. Pull the left fingertips away from the left ear. Breathe into the left side of your neck and all the way down the outside of the left shoulder. As you exhale, release your left arm down. Inhale, turn your head slowly to the sky and your gaze over to the left now. If your eyes were open, you'd be looking at your left hand. Left ear comes to the floor. Inhale, your right arm comes up. Exhale, reach your right arm as far away from your right ear as possible. If it's too much, you just back off by not reaching so far, or by just letting your hand rest on the ground if you already feel the stretch. So only to increase the stretch do you need to bring your hand up and then reach your fingers as far away from your right ear as possible. Try to spread the fingers out wide so you can feel the hands also enlivening and stretching as well. We're lubricating our joints here as we stretch and open the hand, so make sure that that is happening. Breathe into the right side of your neck. Reach your right fingertips even further away from your right ear. Take one more inhale here. Reach, 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 and release your right hand, the back of your right hand down slowly. On your next inhale, take the entire inhale to rotate your head back to neutral. Take an inhale in this position. Again, please notice the increased circulation through the upper torso now as well. And now we're going to take our, this one is like a supine eagle pose. We're going to start with the arms. So you'll bring both of your arms over your shoulders again. Bring your left elbow underneath your right elbow. Cross and wrap your forearms around each other, and then clasp your hands together. So your wrists will also cross. Now, once you're there, draw the elbows down toward your sternum. And now, stepping your left foot to the floor, cross your right knee over your left knee. And then draw your knees and your elbows together. So you're going to pick your feet up off the floor. Bring your elbows to touch your knees. Bring your knees in to touch your elbows. Push your elbows into your knees. Push your knees back into that pressure. If you do have the flexibility to tuck your right toes back behind your left Achilles tendon, please do. Not necessary, but please do if you can. You'll feel a better stretch on your hip that way. Go ahead, work the legs, work your core. Bring your head up for just a moment so that your forehead kind of touches your, the outside of your hand, or you can just kind of push your knuckles into your forehead center. Now release your head back down, but keep the elbows and the knees pressing in. Feel the lower back releasing tension. Feel your abs strong. Good, and release. Unravel your arms, unravel your legs. And for a moment, just extend right back into that star pose. Noticing a lot of increased circulation here. Good, one more time, reach both arms up. This time, right elbow wraps under left. Wrap your forearms, wrap your wrists, clasp your hands together. Draw the elbows toward your sternum or even toward the belly button. Already feeling a stretch on the tops of your shoulders, especially your left shoulder this time. Good, bring your feet up. This time, cross your left knee over your right. Tuck your left toes back behind your right Achilles tendon. Squeeze your inner thighs together. Bring the elbows and the knees to touch or get as close as possible. Push the elbows into the knees, push the knees back into that pressure. Abs are engaging, back is releasing. Shoulders are down, away from your ears. Take an inhale to bring your forehead up so that you can touch your forehead and your knuckles together. Abs are strong, navel draws down. Feel this stretch on your lower back. Engage your inner thighs. Release your head, but keep pressing. Push elbows into knees, knees into elbows. Hollow out the belly, draw your navel down, scoop the pelvis up, and release again. Good. Spread everything out, and this last time we're just going to stay here in star pose. Open everything up. Feel that flood of oxygen-rich blood moving through your body. Soften your gaze. Take 3 more of the breaths that you have established. The long inhale, the even longer exhale. And then if you have any way to cover your eyes, you may want to cover your eyes with your palms, but if you have anything else you could cover your eyes with, like maybe you have a shirt near you or a blanket or something, just cover your eyes here as you end your practice. Spread out and take up even more space on your mat. I'd like to end the session today I've been really enjoying this book. I have had this book for years, but I've been enjoying rereading it. Ascending with Both Feet on the Ground by Jeff Brown. He says, I want to help create a world where everyone's authentic self is invited, excavated, and revered. I want to help create a world where everyone's authentic self, after being excavated, can feel expressed freely. I want to help create a world where you are loved for being whoever you are. A world where every soul is divinely intended, where our shame has melted in the presence of mutual respect, where we bow down to each other's uniqueness, where we feel we can take up space, where we feel we can take up space. I want to help create a world where everyone's authentic self feels like it is able to take up more space, like it is safe to take up more space. For these last few moments of class, please find that spaciousness. And you can feel how this practice has opened you up so that there is greater space within you, and that you feel more authentically open and able to take up more space around you. Thank you so much for practicing today. Have a wonderful rest of your day. Namaste.